The Global Story, with smart takes and fresh perspectives on one big news story, every Monday to Friday from the BBC World Service. Search for The Global Story wherever you get your BBC podcasts to find out more.
After spending decades at the top of the corporate ladder, Shukla Bose decided to shift direction. Fueled by a desire to alleviate social injustice, she founded Parikrma Humanity Foundation, a non-profit organisation that runs schools for underprivileged children in Bangalore. Shukla and Kenya, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Shukla, how would you distill the philosophy behind your foundation in a sentence or two?
Every single child is important. And in a country like India, where there's 1.4 billion people, it is difficult to address the needs of children. But I made it very simple for Parikrma, and we said we will deal with one child at a time, right, and make those children catalysts for change for the entire world.
Brilliant. And the name itself, Parikrma, does it hold a special meaning?
Pari means a circle, Krama means complete, and it is completing the circle of life of children.
Now, I want to hear about your life before you began working in education. Now, Shukla, was education a priority in your family when you were growing up?
Absolutely. I come from a very modest home, and I know that the reason why I was able to do well and was successful in my corporate career is because of the education that I got. I've been a perennial hard worker, so I've never been very bright, but I've been really hardworking, and therefore I did well in my examinations and got scholarships in some of the best schools and universities my parents could not have otherwise afforded.
Now, there are many ways of working in the education sector. Establishing your own foundations and building your own schools is perhaps one of the most challenging routes or options. Shukla, you had an incredibly successful corporate career. You were a CEO of a large company at a time when not many women in India were in positions of leadership. Why did you decide to give that all up?
Actually, the need to do something more had been growing in me for a long time. I was very fortunate that when I was in school, college, and university, I got the opportunity to volunteer with Mother Teresa. I really enjoyed working with her. I really enjoyed serving. I really enjoyed making others happy. And I knew that one day I would do something a lot more meaningful rather than success in the very conventional way, where it gives you the passport to acquire things. Mm-hmm. I wanted to give more of me to people. And that's why it wasn't that daunting for me to give up a corporate career.
Now, Shukla, what were some of the main challenges you faced when you were trying to convince parents to send their children to your schools?
I think the parents, they were skeptical initially. They weren't too sure if I knew anything about education. But when they saw that their children loved coming to our school, I think that was the game changer.
Shukla, for you, it's ensuring that girls are not unfairly discriminated against when they have brothers also in need of an education. So how does that work in practice?
I was very, very clear that if we really believed in equality, then girls had to be a part of this journey. And so when we would go around looking for children to bring into our school, if there were boys in the household, I would disqualify the admission of the boys if their girl sibling was not sent to school. So the message went out very clearly that the girls have equal right to come to school. And today, 52% of my population are girls.
In order to get perspective of just how groundbreaking your work has been, I'd like to get some sense of the magnitude of the problem. Shukla, can you share some information about the state of education in India, especially when it comes to young girls?
India is one of the largest education system in the world, with 1.5 million schools, with about 8 million teachers, nearly about 265 million children of school-going age. huge numbers, right? But there are nearly about 1.2 million children that are out of school. Large percentage of them are girls, because in the poor families, the girls are kept behind because they have to help in the household. When the mother goes out to work, it's the girls that take care of the younger siblings. They are the most vulnerable and most fragile. Whenever there is an issue in the household, it's the girls that have to bear the brunt. In a country where so many children are out of school, it is a big challenge to make children and their parents understand how important it is to actually go to school regularly and complete school. The government has started many schemes to entice children to come to school. They have introduced the midday meal, but for me, the meal should not be the only attraction to school, you know. It is the way you teach the children. It is how you engage the children. The kind of hope and dreams that you can create for the children should be the attraction. So we provide all 3 meals in our school, not to attract children to come to our school. We provide the meals because, like normal, regular children, they have to have nutrition. We take care of their health care, because how can a sick child do well in school, right? So we have the highest attendance in the country and the lowest dropout in the country. And it is not because of the meals we give, but because they love coming to school, because the whole world opens out for them in the schools. And that's our stand as far as education is concerned.
Shukla, did being a woman afford you any special access or advantage as well? Just in terms of, for example, perhaps when you're dealing with the families or speaking to parents, did you think that there was any advantage that came with being a woman who was trying to start this ambitious project?
No, actually, it was a disadvantage, really.
Oh, okay. Same.
Okay. Yeah, it was a disadvantage because they wouldn't take me seriously in the beginning. They didn't think I had the authority or the ability to, push things through.
Now, Shukla, you set up a professional football team for girls. How important has that been when it comes to changing gender norms?
That was a huge challenge because the parents had to be convinced to send their girls for practice at early morning hours, convinced to allow their girls to wear shorts and play physical sports. But I think sports is essential for girls because it gives them an equal footing with boys, but also because it is a new line for careers. Why should girls not get into professional football, look at sports management, look at sports journalism? And when girls start earning money through sports and start supporting their families, the whole game changes. There, because now my girls are the bread earners for the family.
Now, you've both had many students over the year. Could you share a success story that for you speaks to what you're trying to achieve? Shukla?
Well, it's a similar story. We have 22 of Parikrma alums who are working in Parikrma today.
Wow, 22, that's big.
Yes, yeah. But to tell you just one particular story, we have kids whose parents are life-term prisoners. They come from a shelter that is, organized with aid from the government. And we have this policy that these kids must go and visit their parents in jail because we don't want to, remove them, make them forget their parents. They should not be like their parents. But many a times their parents are in prison as under trials. They may not actually be criminals, So I had this little boy who would go and meet his father. His father was a hardened criminal. This little boy would go and meet his father, and all the things that she was taught in school, he would go and tell his father. So one day I got a call from the Commissioner of Prisons inviting me for an event in the prison. And this father was getting the Best Prisoner Award. And he took the award, and there were tears, streaming down his cheeks. And he said that, I know I have done very terrible things in life. I can't undo them, but I still want my son to love and look up to me. I will do anything to earn my son's respect. So it just goes to prove that a little child can transform his family. And through the family, the community can change. This boy is today, he's teaching in a village. So, you know how life transforms if a little bit of care and nurturing is given to children at a very early age.